Greetings to you all. Welcome to another episode of the JD Kustom Jam Jar. Today we've got a very cool guest. We've got Guy Buttery, all the way from Durban, and he's come to give us a performance here at our workshop in Woodmead. Guy, how are you doing, man?
Cool, man. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me, brother.
Amen.
Right.
So, Guy, first question. You know, when an artist comes in, it's always good to get the background of the artist, see where this music comes from.
Yeah.
So with you particularly, when did this musical journey start for you?
Started super young, actually. I started playing when I was 10, so that was 25 years ago now, yeah.
Wow.
And there were just guitars around the house my brothers played,
Yeah.
and it just pulled me in like anything you can imagine, you know?
Cool.
Yeah, I think this sort of the beauty of the guitar is that this physical aspect. It's a very physical instrument. You have direct contact. There's hundreds of ways to play the same note. You know?
Yes, yeah.
And it's not like that with every instrument, I don't think. And I love the sort of physicality of the instrument, like right here, this resonant kind of being.
Yes.
This sort of extension.
Yes.
And I was just really into music, man. I just listened to like everything.
Yes.
I was just drawn into like rock and jazz and folk and hundreds of different kinds of world music.
Right.
And a lot of music from this continent, and particularly from South Africa, was also just like an immediate kind of resonance for me.
Yes.
And my mother played piano, my sister played piano, so it was quite a musical kind of house.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you say Durban had any impact on your musical flavor, your musical tastes? I'm sure those surroundings must have permeated your musical education at some point. Would you say so?
Definitely so. Yeah, I was very much into a lot of acts from KwaZulu.
Yes.
I mean, I listened to a lot of Busi Mhlongo, Shiani and Gobo, great Maskandi player from Durban, Madala Koneni, who I've worked with a lot, who does crazy, really kind of hypnotic, trance-induced kind of Zulu guitar styles.
Yes.
And then I was also very interested in Indian music, which Durban is. I mean, it's not a prominent musical form there, but there's certainly aspects of Indian classical kind of moving through places like Chatsworth and Verulam, and I go to concerts there. Right. I'm very much into sitar music and Indian classical vocal performers.
Right.
So yeah, I think a lot of that stuff kind of came through, and I think also what came through was not just the cultural things, but very much the landscape of the place.
Right.
You know, there is these undulating hills, beautiful Indian Ocean, East Africa kind of vibe. And KZN for me is really this melting pot.
It is.
Which is very kind of tangible and very noticeable and kind of very much, it informed a lot of what I do.
Your latest album, your latest work, you've self-titled Guy Buttery. I've been taking a look at your album art as well, and looking at your album art, what I've seen is there's obviously things that reflect a lot about you. I mean, it's obviously based on your own personal experiences, it seems. What was the catalyst for making an album like this?
Many things. Regarding the album artwork itself, it's basically a record cover with a whole bunch of little different fragments of things from my travels, be it like a little kalimba or there's a picture of my wife as a baby on the back. There's box of matches. There's lots of stuff I picked up in India when I was traveling through there, sort of from all over the place. It kind of symbolizes a lot of what once again informs the music.
Yes.
But regarding the music itself, it was such a pleasure to work on because we had so many amazing guests on that record. A lot of the other work I'd done had been quite solo or like small ensemble, little duets, a couple of trios, and this album is very much kind of ensemble.
Okay.
And we have the great Vusi Maklasela on 2 tracks, who I love.
Right.
Dan Petlansky plays on 2 tracks.
Nice.
There's a wonderful guitar player from the US, a guy named Will Ackerman. My friend Derek Gripper plays on the record. There's a bunch of amazing guys, and an incredible drummer from Durban, a guy named Gareth Gale. My good friend Nibs van der Space. So it's kind of a real collaborative album, and was really beautiful to sort of expand on the solo guitar tracks that they were, and a lot of the music was written with people in mind. Like, it would be great to get that guy, and everyone kind of came to the party. So it was a super cool record to make. Yeah,
that's really cool. So with your current tour that you're doing through SA, Your set list, is that predominantly your last album, or is it just a mix of pretty much your favorite things to play? What is the content?
It's kind of a mixed bag every night. It seems to change quite a bit. I think. I mean, I had a lot of people ask, like, requesting tracks that I hadn't played for years.
Yes.
And then I was like, okay, cool. And then not really remembering them, and then kind of working them out through the tour. And then playing some new stuff. I recorded a new album, which is due out in the middle of the year, with a great Indian classical sitar player and singer. So I played some tracks which work as solo pieces from that record.
Okay.
Some stuff that's like almost 10 years old, some unrecorded stuff.
Cool.
It's sort of all over the place, yeah.
That's really cool. Awesome. So, in your past interviews, you've mentioned that your musical influences are quite wide. I mean, you can't pinpoint them really. You can't really make it specific. But in an interview, you've also mentioned that your education, you could say, comes from Nips van der Spey, who was a guitar teacher of yours in high school. So, would you say that a little bit of his influence is in your music as well? Has that impacted your guitar playing?
Yeah, absolutely. Nibs was we made a record together in 2012 as well. He's a really dear friend of mine. We're doing some shows in Europe later in the year. And just an amazing, wonderful human being. Yeah. Super real, the music is the sort of breath of everything that he is and that he does. And he introduced me to a lot of great music. He put me onto a guitar player which just spun my head around, a guy named Michael Hedges.
Okay.
Who died in 97, was recording in the 80s and through the 90s.
Right.
And he was just this monster pioneer who just gave me the impression that, the guitar is now a mini orchestra. And he was very, very capable of generating and emulating so many sounds. Yes. And I think it's an important thing to mention that I think whilst the guitar is my main instrument, I'm very interested in sound as a whole. Of
course.
And the guitar just has this infinite possibility of just generating very, very, very unique textures.
Agreed. Yeah.
Which I don't know, once again, if all instruments are entirely capable of. I get in trouble when I say this sometimes. But I do think that the possibility to explore those soundscapes and sound possibilities is an ongoing never-ending journey.
Right.
And Nibs was very helpful in also showing me so much music. He put me in touch with so many great songwriters and guitar players and world music from all over the place that it was really massively influential and pivotal in my musical journey. Yeah.
Cool, interesting. A couple of artists have come onto the show, and we generally ask the question, what are their thoughts on the music industry, which is quite broad. But a lot of them seem to have the complaint that there really isn't a live music culture in South Africa. It's not a culture for us as it might be in Germany, for instance, or Sweden or something like that. What have you found? What are your experiences when it comes to the music industry in South Africa, the music culture?
Yeah, I think that what I'm amazed at, to be honest, is that I've been able to do what it is that I do for the last 15, 20 years now.
Yeah.
The kind of music that I create is generally pretty niche.
Yes.
And the fact that there's been some form of support for it is just deeply humbling. And I'm always grateful for that, I mean, on this tour I played a lot of small towns, as well as doing major cities as well, but was just amazed at people coming out in small towns like McGregor and Reba Castile.
Yes.
I played in Graafrenet in the Karoo, and there's just there may not be a huge live culture like maybe there is in Cape Town, for example, where I think that there is.
Right.
But I'm still impressed that people are interested in coming out and hearing something which they maybe can't quite. They don't maybe necessarily have a reference for, or not really sure what it is that it is anyway, but seem kind of open to it. I mean, I think it is different in places like the US and in Europe where there's a lot more of a sort of infrastructure, and maybe people are more exposed to different stuff, and maybe they're a bit more discerning.
Yeah.
But I still very much love touring this country,
Yes.
I think I just find that I meet incredible humans throughout the country. This tour is like 5,000 kilometers, and 17 concerts around the country. So
Quite widespread. Yeah.
yeah, you get to see and understand a little bit of the fabric of what makes up South Africans.
Yes, yeah. And in terms of live venues, is it becoming more difficult to find live venues to play at? Would you just kind of make your own path through the country and play wherever you can, just to get the message across?
I think it's a combination of those two things.
Yeah.
I think there are certainly venues. I think I've also been doing it a long time, so the network is quite wide. I've played in lots of places, and then people say, hey, check this place out, and move through next time you're passing through. But I think that there would always be great if there was a bit more venues to make the music. Fortunately, this being a solo tour, I can play kind of anywhere. Last night I did a house concert in Joburg, which was really cool, intimate space, and you know, it's kind of a mixed bag. I think what I'm really looking for is just people there for there to be open and vulnerable in the space of the music itself. I think what's also important to mention is that the live experience is a very much give and take kind of thing.
Right.
As much as I put in, there's a lot to do with how much the audience is giving back, and vice versa. It's very much this open
energy thing.
That is very noticeable, especially when you're doing concert like this tour is. I can feel the sense of energy or urgency or anticipation in the room.
I suppose it's a form of communication at the end as well.
Totally. I mean, music is just the oldest language in the universe.
Pretty much, yeah. Since man picked up a stick,
exactly. And before that, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So one of our last questions here is, you've got quite a cult following in South Africa. There's a lot of people, especially in my day-to-day job that, mention your name and aspire to your level of skill and professionalism. What would you give in terms of advice to the younger generation, the next generation coming up of musicians?
I think what was very helpful for me is to just be checking out as many genres as you can. I think that, I listen to a lot of stuff that I don't even always necessarily love. Yeah. But I'm interested in how people are communicating different things, I think that there's so many different musical forms which kind of go by the wayside or aren't necessarily pushed on giant medias. And I think checking those things out inform your own form of communication with yourself and with your instrument and hopefully with an audience of sorts. Right. So my advice is always to oh wow, there's this unusual Oriental guy playing an instrument I've never heard of, or there's some crazy Malian guy playing this 2-string bowed instrument which I don't know how to pronounce. And what is it that it resonates with you? I think I was lucky as well because my older brothers were into a lot of different stuff, and I think I would be listening to reggae and then rock and then some unusual Indian forms which and I think that those really informed a lot of what I do, and once again, not necessarily that I play any of those things, I don't really subscribe to any kind of tradition at all, but the fact that there's some kind of influence of that coming in, I think it gives you a little bit more vocabulary to ponder over. Sure. Yeah. And then Dan Podlansky, my good friend, said you also got to be careful what you listen to, which I can appreciate. Sure. Because sometimes you play, you're like, oh, where did that line come from? Yeah. And I do appreciate that, and I think that there is some value in that. But I think tastefulness can extend across every genre. Cool. So yeah.
Interesting. This is the actual last question for this interview. Is what flavor are you bringing to the jam jar with your performance?
I think I would be keen to bring some South African vibes, some sort of Cape flavor, some kind of Afro flavor. Yeah. Cool. What we got going on there?
We got some jam.
Sweet. I'll smash up some jam.
That's ready. So you go.
Get in there.
Try it.
Thanks, bro.
Some of our jam.
Am I going to get in some of that?
Do it.
Sweet. I haven't had jam for ages. Look at me go.
Yeah.
Get in there, bro.
Good. Let's do it, bro.
Smash it up.
Cheers.
Sweet. Right.